Okay, so what I want to talk about is the responsibility of people who work at cultural, heritage, or historic institutions like museums, universities, art galleries, and community centers, or who are involved with groups like historical or cultural societies to engage with the public and stimulate interest. So basically, their responsibility is to inspire civic engagement through the presentation of their area of interest and demonstrations of their special knowledge. I have a feeling most people here are involved with places or groups like these, so for the sake of time, I'm going to label people who work in these areas professionally or avocationally culturals. So a lot, if not all of us here, are culturals in some way, right? Okay. So, now, in order to engage with the public and get them interested, culturals need to go out and see what issues the public are interested in, or issues they are impacted by. They can do this by attending community meetings, reading local interest pieces in the newspaper, or by getting involved with other community projects. Yes, this will involve a bit of work on the behalf of culturals outside of the regular work hours, but if you're passionate and care about your institution or group and want it to be relevant and engaging for the public, going out and interacting with the public is an endeavor that is clearly worth the extra time and effort. Larger institutions can sometimes afford to hire staff who focus on this aspect, but for smaller institutions, the responsibility often falls on what little staff they do have, and unfortunately, these endeavors are rarely paid. But we're all here now, aren't we? We were willing to take time out of our day to get together with people that are already invested in culture, so shouldn't we be willing to get together with people who might not be as invested yet, in hopes of helping them see the value of your institution or group? By attending local meetings and learning about the issues the public is affected by, culturals can determine which of these are related to their cause or group or institution or whatever, and culturals can then use this knowledge to develop responsive programs or exhibits or events that the public may be interested in and attend, thereby getting culturals the attention they want and largely deserve, as well as responding to the needs of the public and benefiting them. Let's use historic or heritage institutions or groups more specifically as an example, just because I have more experience in this area. And if you can get history or heritage experience and connect it with the experience of people in the past, people today will start to see the past as real. By demonstrating that people in the past had the same sorts of cares and problems as we do now, people in the past come to life, and the past becomes a place that was actually lived rather than just facts and figures. The past becomes a place that was real and that is understandable and that was actually lived. In many ways, it becomes a part of a story, and that is something the public can take away something more from. When you use stories in interpreting, the public is able to use creativity in the consideration of problems, of events, or data. Plus, you make it so that people don't need to wade through technical material or jargon to see why the past matters. If you make it easier for people to understand, you don't have to try so hard to make them see why they should care. It will be more evident to them on their own. In this way, members of the public will start to form their own attachments to culture and history, which may then lead them to be involved further and learn more. And isn't that a good thing? Another way to get people interested is to give them opportunities to experience and interact with the past using artifacts and culture, or to get their voices to be heard and taken into consideration. This can be done through something as simple as post-it notes or even cue cards, which is done at the Antique House National Historic Site here in London, where people are given the opportunity to leave little messages about Dr. Banting or about how diabetes has affected their life. And if you can get people to care, they're more likely to come back, and a dialogue can continue and flow out of these interactions. This results in continued feedback from the public, which culturals initially had to go and get. Culturals can then continue to respond to the needs and interests of the public, thereby furthering their own needs and interests. And perhaps more importantly, the audience of cultural, heritage, or historic institutions or groups can continue to expand. So, in the end, culturals have a responsibility to be facilitators of discussion. If we don't take this role seriously and use what we have at our disposal to stimulate discussion and civic engagement, we are missing out on a crucial opportunity, fundamental opportunities that can further the understanding of the past, present, future, the public, ourselves, and culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Alison, and I'd also like to point out that Alison spoke at our event in Toronto.